Hello and welcome back to the Well-Fed Business Podcast, where we
Hi,
need to be done
everyone.
by Q2, giving us precisely 33 minutes to talk a bunch of shite about social media. Very quickly, not fastly, it's not a word.
Fastly. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's very quickly becoming one of our favourite topics to talk about, and for good reason. Every cunt's talking about it, but we're the only ones saying, hang on a minute, it's not as good as you think. Every other
Steady
tosspot. I
on.
saw something the other day, John. It will make you sick to your stomach. I have to be careful not to judge people's ages because I get judged for my age, and I think rather unfairly, especially because I've been in this industry 10 years now, longer than most people have run fucking businesses of their own. And I saw this probably mid-20s young girl, and she said this marketing strategy changes marketing forever. And I thought, that's interesting. Let's see what she's got to say. She opened her phone, she opened Instagram, she went into the settings and she toggled something. She toggled something which enabled a feature. And she was like, marketing won't be the same after this. And I walked away from my computer. I was disappointed in myself for having wasted 30 seconds of my life,
The only life you're ever going to have.
the only life I'm ever going to have. Let them convince me that I was about to watch something that was going to change marketing forever. And then she pulled a phone out of her fucking pocket and went into Instagram and changed
And
a
toggled
setting.
something. Yeah. I mean, there's no conceivable setting on earth you could have changed to change marketing forever, is there? I mean, this is the first thing about social media marketing. And we see the claim quite a lot. And I've seen the claim a lot about many, many things. I remember one guy, I think it was Perry Marshall. Yes, that Perry Marshall, who sold some program or other with a long copy sales letter with the headline and the basic premise, the sales letter is dead. I mean, that is brilliant. You know, he wrote a long copy sales letter to sell something saying what you're buying this, the reason you're buying this product doesn't work anymore. Fuck off. That's sheer brilliance. I'm sure it was him. Anyway, I'm going back nearly 20 years. The claim that something, and now it's social media marketing, is a new paradigm in marketing and the old ways don't work anymore. It's just not true. We're using the old ways to close people regularly on a 5-figure purchase. It's actually speaking to people, not with social media. Now, never mind the empirical nature of being able to debunk these claims, but just think about it rationally and critically. Commerce is a relatively new human invention, and we've been human for probably a couple of 100,000 years. And our oldest, we split from the chimpanzees, a common ancestor, about 3 million years ago. Then the next closest relative we've got are the bonobos, so sometime before that, so more than 3 million years. Now, bonobos, more than chimpanzees, bonobos, they exhibit the same kind of sexual behavior humans do. They use sex as a currency. All right, they engage in sexual commerce. Basically, they trade sex for favor, both in for a good favor, as in good relationships, but also to get food and things. So the idea of commerce is kind of not new, but what it does, it co-opts the sexual parts of our brain. So that's been there for at least 3 million years, more. All right. So commerce is not new in itself, but commerce in terms of trade of goods and services, really, other than sex, is. And what we've done, all marketing is predicated on co-opting the sexual nature of the sexual centers of our brain. It's the same thing. That's how humans are. You can't change the human genome or the structure of the human brain in a few 100,000 years or a couple of tens of thousands of years. You certainly can't change it in a couple of decades since social media's come on board. All the differences we see in the marketing done on social media, print, telephone, whatever, they are basically cultural and societal changes layered right on the very top layer of human interaction. And we know how quickly human nature can break down to its barest level. If you don't believe me, look at the atrocities committed in Rwanda about 20, 30 years ago. Look at the atrocities committed in Bosnia. Look at the atrocities committed in the Second World War, both by the Japanese and the Germans, and no doubt others. Look at what's going on in Ukraine right now, where they're abusing and shooting unarmed prisoners and putting them in mass graves. Human nature does not change. The idea that because of some cultural and societal change and social media allowing us to be able to speak to millions of people, billions of people theoretically, all at once with no effort, has somehow changed the human being is utter fucking nonsense. It really is. And we can prove this because when you start writing social media posts and getting people into traditional funnels which don't work anymore, guess what? They work because they co-opt parts of the brain, human psychology, which has been around for literally millions of years. So please, you social media twonks, use the fucking brain God gave you and don't just mouth this parrot, this bollocks that you're reading from other people who are trying to sell you something. Sorry, rant over.
To summarize that, what you're saying is the human brain's the fucking same. Learn proper sales and marketing and apply it to several mediums. Social media is not some
Yes.
shortcut into
No.
the sales cortex of the brain.
No, it's such bollocks. A new paradigm. Old work methods don't work. Fucking nonsense.
Now,
Really, utter nonsense.
the
Nonsense.
argument,
Nonsense.
the argument, a young twonk such as myself, who, young, excited, full of fucking cum, geezer, I'm going to start a social media agency. And the reason this autistic, red-faced, angry hobbit is saying all of these things is because he's part of the past. He's a dinosaur now.
Yeah.
We can't expect men like him to get it, that white gammon. How do you feel about that?
I've never been called a gammon before.
Well, I tell you what, I've been waiting a long time to slag you off like that in the voice of another person.
I bet you have. Well, it is an accusation which gets levelled, very often. Not necessarily at me personally. I'm sure it probably has. It's not that I would really notice if I just ignore it.
In private.
That kind of accusation is levelled at people like me. They don't understand. Yes, actually, we do understand it. And the reason we say you are wrong in what you believe is because we understand how it actually works. Because unlike these, these people are not wrong because they're millennials or because they're only 25 or because they've got pink hair and tattoos and earrings and they like to talk about their sexual identity and their genders and not actually about business. They're not wrong because of those things. They do those things because they're wrong. They don't understand marketing. That's why they do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That they are wrong simply because they are wrong. Now, when you get some 25-year-old, 20-year-old twonk saying about social media is the best thing ever, it's the only thing that ever works, nothing else works anymore, ask them, think critically and ask them, well, what other methods have you tried? They've not. These people, many of these people, social media is older than they are. They've never had to run a business without the social media having their back. They've never had to run a business. So some of them haven't even been alive without social media. They've never known a world without the internet, social media, or anything else like that. They haven't done these things. So the next question to ask is, okay, you say this doesn't work, direct mail doesn't work, long copy doesn't work, whatever it is that doesn't work anymore. What experience have you got actually doing that? And they'll tell you none. Well, okay, so where are you getting your information? Well, everyone knows. Well, yeah, who specifically has told you this? And how do they know it? What are their sources? Can you tell me, can you cite ultimately the source you are using, which is verifiable, objectively testable, and repeatable? Can you verify that source so we can all check that it doesn't work anymore? Block.
No. Yeah, block. That's
They'll
how it ends.
Yeah, they are wrong because they are uninformed and ignorant. It's as simple as that. But they're not those things because they're young. They're those things because they don't know any better. They've never tried to educate themselves. So please, take a new paradigm and a dried cactus and a mallet and hammer them up your arse. Please.
In a way, they allow their lack of experience to become their arrogance.
Oh.
Don't they?
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing they've ever tried. And furthermore, it's easy. It's social media is so fucking easy.
Well,
and
that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah.
When we've got clients, we've got to deliver results. Yeah, that's how I've always remembered it. Anyway, when you've got clients, you have to deliver real results.
Duh.
Now you can trick clients into thinking you're getting them results because you get them likes and comments. And the reason then clients think that's fine is because they get the big shot of dopamine. And now they see this social media agency ran by some twonk who doesn't understand marketing as their little dopamine button. Yes, if I give this person money, they will give me dopamine. And then all of a sudden the bank account's empty.
Think on this. The human world runs on dopamine. So think about the vices: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. All right. What do they actually give you in the end? They're shortcuts to dopamine. Human beings are never happier. Research has borne this out. Human beings are very happiest when they're having sex. This is why, no matter how hard you get on crime, how tough you get on crime, the crime of pornography and prostitution, it never goes away. There are countries where there is the death penalty for prostitution. Still doesn't go away. You know, that have got the death penalty for drug dealing and supply in a lot of places. Singapore, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, China. Guess what? Still get drug dealers, still get prostitutes, because they are fundamental. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. So, social media. Okay, how seductive an idea is this? Okay, you can, rather than having to study and learn to write powerful sales messages, put them out there, put yourself out there, risk your ego being damaged by a no, fuck off. How much more seductive is it to be able to instead write all about your raw, authentic, self-absorbed, navel-gazing bullshit and have people like, share, comment, and view, and then somehow magically buy from you? How seductive is that? Because not only do you get the validation and the attention you're seeking, you attention-seeking little fucks, but you get sales. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't. You're entirely wrong here. The only people who make money, with rare exception, there are a few businesses where their target market is broad enough that it encompasses nearly everyone. And I've seen this. They do quite well. But other than those people, the only people who do well, and they're outliers, which by definition means anyone listening to this is almost certainly not one. Right? The only people who do well out of social media marketing, the way it's typically done, are people who are selling in some way, shape, or form the secrets to social media marketing. They're a little bit like gender studies lecturers. The only fucking purpose ever of a gender studies person, lecturer, is to turn out more gender studies lecturers, because they've got no fucking other use on this planet. They're not even good as paperweights and doorstops because they're empty air. You know, it's seductive. Of course it is. And here's the thing: you touched on it. When you put out a post and you get lots of engagement, and you've seen it before, thank you, thank you, thank you. I got 10,000 likes on this post. But how much money did you make you? Guess what happens when you ask them that? Block.
Yeah, crickets. For people that think we're wrong, we regularly speak to people that have gone viral or are popular in some way or another on social media. And when they say, hey, you know, this tweet popped off, this LinkedIn post popped off. Yeah, but what are the sales like? It is crickets. It really is. And it boggles the mind. I'm sure it's hard to comprehend, because you'd think, well, it's very similar with the pricing thing with construction. Well, there must be a little bit of profit in here. There must be a little bit of profit in here somewhere. Like, I haven't actually strategically put a plan together to make some money, but it's got to be in here somewhere. It's very, very much the same when you're going for the likes on social media.
So one of my clients wanted to be an influencer. I declined to help her with that because it's not something I'd really have the skills in. But also, even if I did, I wouldn't want to do it, because I think the internet influencer, the social media influencer, is one of the more unpleasant sides of humanity. I don't like them at all for all kinds of reasons. And she openly said this on LinkedIn, so it wasn't a private conversation. She posted, in the last 6 months, I posted 3 times a day, every day, blah, 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 all the stats she did. I've had over 1 million views of my content, and it hasn't done a single thing for my business. And this woman is highly attractive, which does matter, people, if you want to be an influencer.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, she's highly attractive, she's highly intelligent, she's an incredibly well-paid copywriter as well. So she's not stupid, she knows what she's doing. And she had 1 million views and nothing, zero impact or effect or benefit to her business. You know,
Nope.
We had a lady a little while ago say she wanted to think about working with us, maybe, and I said, what's working and what's not? My social media is working, but I'm not making any sales. And I said to her, I'm a bit confused here. When you say your social media is working but you're not making any sales, what do you actually mean? Oh, I'm getting loads of engagement and that's increasing. Yeah, but how is that benefiting your business? Crickets. And I had another woman, different woman, say to me some time ago, her plan was this. And I'm going to tell you why this is nonsense and ridiculous in a moment. And this is objective mathematics. This has nothing to do with my opinion. She said, yeah, my plan is to build an audience, get engagement, and then start marketing my services. Because somewhere within that big mass of people who like my self-absorbed, narcissistic, fucking raw, authentic, navel-gazing bollocks, someone will want to buy my stuff. Now, that's true. But the numbers are really tiny. And let me explain how this works. I've actually got some pretty pictures. You won't see them now, but they're going to be in my new book by the end of the month. Imagine you've got the set of all people. And contained entirely within that set, you have the set of people interested in your message, or rather who have the problem you solve. And then you have the set of people who are interested in your self-absorbed narcissistic prattle. Now, these two sets will intersect to a degree. Okay, that's the intersection of the two sets. Now, entirely contained within the set of people who have your problem will be the set of people who have your problem and are interested in listening to your message on how to solve it. Now, we know from direct mail that number is going to be about 1 in 100, about 1%. To a warm list, you'd maybe looking at 5. So let's be generous to say 5% of the people who are interested, who have your problem you can solve, will be interested in your message. 5%. Now, the people who are interested in your inane prattle, some of those will be interested in your problem, having the problem you solved, because it's just a general population. But what percentage will that be? Very small. Because research shows, okay, and again, there are websites to bear this out. The set of people you reach out of the general population who can see your message is about 5%. So immediately, this set is very tiny. Now, the intersection of the set of people who have the problem you can solve and are interested in what you say, that's that set. The set of people who are interested in your problem, have your problem, have the problem you solve, are interested in your message to solve it, and are also interested in your self-absorbed, narcissistic, navel-gazing prattle, that set is necessarily smaller than the set of people who are just having your problem, the problem you can solve, and are interested in your message. By what margin? Well, I can show you the maths, but you'll find the percentage is about the same as the percentage of people who will see your message. It's about 5%. So rather than 1% of people who have the problem you can solve and are interested in your thing, okay, if you rely on social media, you've got 1/20th of 1%. Basically, if you write messages on social media directly aimed at the people you can solve problems for, talking about that problem and offering a solution, you will get about a 20 times better response than if you just post inane shit, self-absorbed narcissistic bollocks and hope people will engage. Okay, this is mathematics. This is not my opinion. And this is borne out by empirically by the stats. I have people, I mentor them, they change their social media strategy. Their engagement goes down by about 90%. Shock fucking horror. But their income more than doubles. What do you want? You want to be fucking popular, or do you want to make money? Now, I didn't explain that very well, and to anyone not familiar with set theory, it won't make any sense. But I can show you this, and maybe we can put the diagram below the posting here.
I was going to say, what we'll do for the listeners, if you're in the membership site, we'll post it there, and we'll also post a little link below the video. But when it goes up in the membership site, this episode will have it there, nice, large, and proud. So
I can do a video, can't I?
You can do a video. I'll tell you what we'll do. For those that aren't inside the group, the exclusive group, they can just get the picture. For those that are inside the group, they get the video. And if you want to get inside that group, go buy the fucking book, wellfedfreelancer.com. And hopefully John will be able to make sense of that, because to be honest, I just shut off for 2 minutes there.
Well, honestly, it's schoolboy level mathematics set theory.
I know, but it's very difficult without demonstration. There's a reason the math teachers love the chalkboard. There's a reason for that. Johnny boy. So I saw something from our good friend Andrew Huberman the other day. It says chocolate raises your dopamine levels by 55%, sex raises it by 100%, nicotine raises it 150%, cocaine 225%, methamphetamines by 1,000%. I'm now going to Google if there's social media.
So what happens if you have sex on methamphetamines?
You die.
While eating chocolate and snorting cocaine.
With a fag.
Yeah. And to our American listeners, fag in UK means cigarette.
All right, nothing immediately has jumped out, but I reckon social media, if I had to guess, I reckon it's in between nicotine and cocaine.
I wouldn't even like to venture
stroking the ego. Really? I love having an opinion on things I shouldn't. It's great fun.
Yeah,
getting all sorts of trouble.
Because there will be confounding variables as well. There will be, for instance, how long and how often you do it.
Yeah, there's lots of variables.
Because don't forget, there's the confounding variable as well of I guess if you get dopamine from having sex, there's a sense of achievement you won't get if you have it on meth, cocaine, social media, etc. That will have an effect too. Critical thinking, Connor, is your friend. So that's really unrealistic expectations of what social media can and cannot do. You know, by appealing directly to people's problems and offering the solution, you will always get a better response than if you just do this nasal gaving bollocks. With the very rare exception, your target market is broad enough for that to work, and most of you, this is not the case. You know, if you're selling social media training, yes, it will. If you're selling bridges and underwater tunnels or swimming pools, it just won't. It just isn't going to work like that, or fucking weight loss or anything else. The third thing, of course, is social media is in general, and the internet as well. They're all unnecessarily narrow. And when I was young, the only place to meet girls was down the pub or in a nightclub. That was what the common wisdom said. Nowadays, it's more like the only place to meet girls really is Tinder. I've seen that claim made on Instagram. Someone selling a Tinder course, how to do Tinder properly. And let's face it, if you're not big on Tinder, you've failed. The usual bollocks. It's another fucking take of the old methods don't work anymore. But there are lots of places to meet girls if you want to. And one of the best places I know is a bookshop. Because not only are there women there are lots of them, but they tend to be educated and intelligent too, and they like intelligent, educated men. If you focus on social media, all right, you are missing an entire world of things which are not social media, which is by definition everything else in the universe. So, direct mail, writing a book and putting it through letterboxes, knocking on doors, physically going out to networking meetings, which is something I would never do because I fucking hate it.
Parish mags, newspapers,
television, radio
leafleting,
interviews, getting in the news, that kind of thing, leaflets, walking the
local
streets
events.
with a fucking sandwich board, putting you, heck, do this, you can put your little ad in your local supermarket. Dan Kennedy used to do that, and he got at least 100k client from doing it. Well, it costs you pennies, 5p or something, to put a fucking notice up for a year, and you might get a client. You probably won't, but you might do. There are endless ways to promote your business, and the internet and social media is just one of them. But it's the one that most people spend most of their time on doing unworkable, pointless stuff in the false belief it's going to work. I mean, I don't get it. The same people doing this are also reading the posts that say it's really dry this month, there's no work, because everyone else noticed their reach going down. And they're reading these posts and observing it in their own posts. So what do? Well, they double down on it. It doesn't make any sense. Well, you got to keep posting. But if it's not working now, at what point do you think it's going to start? The great thing about direct response marketing is within a week, you know whether or not something's worked. And if it hasn't, yeah, that's a blow, and you think, fuck it, I'll back to the drawing board. But at least you know. Send out a direct mail sales letter or a postcard. Within a fortnight, you've got your answer and you can move on.
And the only algorithms you have to worry about, are fucking the ones in the brain that don't change for hundreds and hundreds and thousands
Millions.
of years. With LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, every other social media platform, it seems like every other fucking week they do an algorithm change, and then these experts come crawling out the wood. And when I say experts, I mean experts saying, update, I've cracked what they've changed in the algorithmic updates. You must stop using this particular word and this sentence structure and start using image text post, yada, yada, yada. All of a sudden, your business becomes just a little junkie to a social media's algorithm that you've got no hope of understanding.
I know, it's laughable. Again, most of these people who talk about the algorithm, they wouldn't know an algorithm if it jumped up their arse and fucking started a bonfire. Okay? To reverse engineer an algorithm from its outputs and its inputs only, so it's a black box, you don't know what's inside it, is mathematically one of the most difficult things you can do. Alan Turing, genius, basically won the Second World War for us, that clever. He spent a lot of money and time building fucking massive, great mechanical machines to do this for the Enigma box, the Enigma encryption device the Germans use. Well, the social media algorithms that use to post, to say who sees what, are a lot more complex than that. And these fucking amateurs, not even mathematicians, not even degree level mathematicians, these amateurs say, yeah, I've cracked the algorithm. No, you haven't. You don't have any fucking idea what you're talking about, let alone any chance of solving this problem. You're talking bollocks. And even if you did, how stupid is it to base your livelihood on an algorithm run and designed and changeable by somebody else? It's just
God.
fucking crazy.
Well, you're giving up control of your own business,
I
and
know, it's
you're handing the
bonkers.
leash over to someone else. And it's also indicative of not having a clear avatar, not having a clear set of problems that you solve, not getting clear on the outcomes, their heaven and hell. Because when you get clear on all of those things, your mission becomes very simple. Find people, these sort of peoples with these sort of problems, and tell them my message, my marketing
It's that
messages.
easy. It really is.
It really is that fucking easy. And when you build a super signature offer, sometimes, yeah, because people forget this, especially with social media, people love to buy shit. People really fucking love to buy shit. But nowadays, there's 101 different tic tacs that you have to implement into everything that you do to trick people into buying. No, cunt. If you know your fucking audience and their problems and you say, hey, here's an offer for you, I'm going to tackle all of these problems for you. Here's what your life's going to look like after. And here's the price and here's a bunch of bonuses you're going to get, people will often say, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. No clever tricks involved. No triple opt
Don't
in.
need tricks.
No reverse VSL upside down pancake
No,
edition of a website.
no.
Like, just a person with a problem that you understand deeply and an offer that solves their problem. With a bit of salesmanship, that's all you need.
The number of people selling social media and algorithm loopholes. Fucking hell. And people buy them. Anyway, we have to finish because I have another call in 5 minutes.
That's a shame. Sorry, I got passionate then because it came off a
I
client
like it.
call. It came off a client call. Someone said to me privately they were discussing a tactic with me. People love discussing tactics because it's not real fucking work. And I just said, look, at the end of the day, the people you're selling to have the problem that you solve, and you put an offer in front of them, and you sell them essentially this Ferrari, but you sell it at, in their eyes, it's a Ferrari, but they think they can buy it for fiat money, you're onto a winner. You still get paid tens of thousands of pounds, and they feel like they've got the best experience ever. They go, yeah, it's a little expensive, but fuck me, I've got a Ferrari for it.
Mm.
It's that simple.
It's the thing about social media is it's. I think we can sum it up very quickly before we finish. It's essentially predicated on building your ego. Influencers is all about ego. Like, shares, comments, and views is all about ego. Not direct selling, so never being told, no, I don't want you or your solution, go away. Ego.
Yeah.
It's all about ego, which is effectively dopamine. Anyway, we got to go.
And on
I
that
love
note,
you all. He lied.
Go to wellfedfreelancer.com to get a copy of the book. You get 10 additional bonuses. So even if you're not a freelancer, it's well worth going there. You also get access to the bronze community where you get the opportunity to ask questions directly to me and Johnny Boy and myself. I had a discussion there recently talking about social media and the perils that we face amongst it. And that person essentially got a private consultation over Loom just because the group's a little bit quiet right now. So if you'd like to become a part of that community, go to wellfedfreelancer.com and buy a copy of the book. Alternatively, if you're a serious big boy with big boy money and a big boy business, or girl, we're not sexist, email holly@wellfedbusiness.com and put core control in the subject line and we'll get you the details of our flagship program. And on that note, see you later.
Bye, honey.